Cosmetics applied with a trowel not to be ignored. But ask yourself this, can you really afford to just lie back and take it as if you were on a recliner? Displaying the feast like a montage in a diner, exerting yourself to your pains in your heart like angina. Shave those legs and wax that vagina, indulge in diet and cosmetic surgery and implants till you pop. But your efforts will never match the sheen of Photoshop. Going back and forth like a Newton's cradle and up and down like a pogo. May as well just get branded with that Abattoir Garnier logo, incisions made in the skin for beautification. But if I do it, it's considered self-mutilation. Need to open our eyes, it's corporate manipulation, exploiting and aggravating a growing sense of isolation. But there's another way. I'm representing the great and washed across the UK. It's the only way to break free is to stop giving a fuck and be a scruff like me. Thank you. So that's the beauty culture covered. This one is about like the sort of equilibrium of humans and like sort of the moral sort of obligations and the ecological obligations that sort of go with
Told
that.
you say well.
Time's running out like a burning taper, wading through plastic packaging and wasted paper, covered in worthless words. The sound of traffic drowning out singing birds, billboards and pollution render us oblivious to flowers in bloom. Crooked horizon dotted with tubes emitting plumes of fumes. A hole in the sky dilates like the eye of a person who's about to collapse, mirrored by the surface of the Arctic, and its melting ice caps will be washed away like fungal spores when that amount of water engulfs our shattered shores. Most of us deserve this bit of medicine that we're tasting because of years of humanity senselessly wasting. Don't they realise the supplies won't last forever? The skies retaliate with stormy weather. The unconscious collaborators flag unwittingly unfurled in a partially forgotten, deprived corner of the world. There's a story left largely untold out there. You're lucky if you grow old. And all over the world, families unsheltered and cold. While out of fashion designer tops grow mildew and mould for a month, not a gram of nutrition has passed this child's lips. While tons of perfectly good food is left to fester in skips, gallons and gallons of burning oil. While fellow human beings are left in turmoil, the word extinction on my lips like back in the Jurassic, efficiently eradicating ourselves with a scorched earth tactic for our own sake. We need to stop now because we're at a crucial junction, but a third of the world is in the bubble of their own consumption. May as well take off that shirt and tie and put on that SS coat, because all over the world the waters are tainted whether with fluoride, a dead goat, and they disassociate from their excretions into the air and the sky they mutilate. We've had a glimpse of the fantasy and developed the taste, leaving a mangled, twisted, tangled mess of waste in our wake, watching the oil burning on the surface of the lake. Think of what you're doing to this planet, for fuck's sake. Many national governments and multinational organisations, it's time for a quick and brutal defenestration. Yeah. Does everyone know what that means? Yeah.
Throw through a window.
It means to throw something or someone out of a window.
That's right, to defenestrate them.
Because of them, we're going environmental with a capital M. Sports cars in full sets and their private jets. Hardly use them, want to see how many more they can get. Like an intoxicated vampire on an ego trip. The blood that spills for the oil that drips. I'm microphone jack and I'm planting the seed. Some people don't seem to see the need to reduce, repair, reuse, recondition, recycle. We've been wasting for too long and it's taken the Michael. Becomes ever more important as finally now, after years, we may be seeing the completion of the Marxist cycle. Mine's as substantial as form of those who sooner worship a penny than conserve their only home. Yeah, it's our home, but it's not ours. Turn off that light. Sees you're not just burning a hole in the sky, you're drowning out the stars. We've been given a gift and turned it into hell, leaving nothing but poison, gas, acid rain and an empty shell. And the function of the mass media, it seems at a guess, is to increase consumption by means of breeding a culture of stress. Reiterate the point with a little contortion. We mustn't lose sight of the fact that possibly some of this shit has been blown out of proportion. I'm not a doctor, but I got a diagnosis. This consumption leads to more waste, which accelerates the process. And the resulting battle of the egos is going to lead to a nasty grapple like the time on Olympus with the golden apple. This system needs that spanner. The only politician I trust goes to town wearing black and a red bandana. Cause they fight for freedom, whereas the bosses these days fight for the spoils of war. Gorge themselves sick in the faces of the poor, and when it comes to oil, they're junkies, they always want more. How dare them yuppie suckers dictate to me from the artificial plateau of their SUV? When it comes to the powers that be, we need to rip off them blinkers because they fail to see that for people in their position, they're not doing what they ought to. Fail to recognise the ripples that they're leaving for their children, sons and daughters, divide the profits amongst themselves into unequal quarters and feed the population with tainted water. No repercussions for you now as you widen the sky's hole, but we'll see what happens when you're weighing in your soul against the feather. Unless you've another explanation for this erratic weather, the planet's spiralling into cataclysm. The fifth horseman of the apocalypse is capitalism. The sky is falling in through human audacity as we seriously threaten the planet's carrying capacity. The ecosystem's had enough. This desecrated planet's no more a diamond in the rough because of our pollution, cruelty and waste. We've left Mother Earth with a bitter taste. And some still stand back and wonder why. Hate, like molten lead, drips from the wounded sky.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Fucking amazing.
Have one more? What do you reckon to one more? Alright, so this one is me dictionary wanking. Right? Do you know what I mean? I'm a logophile is the technical term.
Well,
That's
right.
someone who likes words. Yeah, you know that, do you? But it's relevant. It's relevant. It's based on a very popular sort of graphic novel series, which has also been turned into a film. And it's based on a vigilante whose face has become very popular amongst these kind of events. Please don't fear from the verbose veneer of my bile volatile, verily versatile style, penning words and liberating goods from the supermarket aisle with the greatest of ease, gonna give those bankers and other wankers the bees. There are many ways to help this system fall, be it brawling or scrawling a manifesto on the walls, spreading the word as we're delivering our verses, dodging bullets and Masonic curses, vox populi traverses as the mist disperses. Realise that to reverse those hearses, we've got to close our purses and forget our soul-destroying, inhumane jobs and their menial salary. It's time to retire to the shadow gallery, fill the bottles, dampen the rags, lace up the steelies, pack your bags, check your pockets and take to the streets. Death or success, don't accept defeat, and the only thing we're probably going to eat is a truncheon luncheon or a bit of that totalitarianist, fascist, capitalist Babylon fist punching for the munching. As the crowds collide, feel and hear the bones crunching, boots on both sides quaking, ground is shaking, glass is breaking. This is our home and it's ours for the taking, so take the steps to make the change. Turn Downing Street into a shooting range. Just remember you're not alone. Got to reclaim this place we call a home. A vulgar display of verbiage via voracious vocabulary, describing how to bomb the local constabulary. If you shudder with indignation at every injustice you see, then you're definitely a comrade to me, and we'll point out the violators like a cursor. Because the violence is inevitable, even vice versa, that's the zeitgeist. Vis-a-vis the venal, virulent vermin, vanguarding vacuous vice. Visions of vicissitudes with the veracity we vindicate, without safe valediction before we vacate.
Sorry to interrupt, I've got a Tory listening to you. I'll keep...
Feedy, vicious retaliation across the nation against the totalitarian forces of globalization. Sick of submission, with vitriolic vehemence, the verdict is vengeance. That's the volition of the valiantly virtuous. Against the sources of this vexation, driven by the view of the virgin vestige, pre-contamination.
Who's the Tory? Where's the Tory?
Why in the blue ribbon?
Oh.
Oh, that's tell everyone.
Right, everyone, we've got a guest who's rather drunk. He doesn't know where he's walked into. There's this guy up here wearing a nice little badge on his face, and he's really drunk and he doesn't know where he's landed. So we're going to give him a warm welcome. Let's go to the horrible Conservative and give him a hug, because he needs more than a hug before he knows he has to.
So it's out with a blue ribbon, right?
Just be nice! Just be nice!
Defy Tory rule. Yes, so there's somebody who's from the Conservative conference right here.
Have you had a good day, Tim? How you doing, mate? We've got you both.
Sorry,
How you doing? We can't walk, Tim.
Tory's out! We're not from London. Tory's out! Tory's out!
You vote Tory, you cunt!
but it's supposed to be about police. Hello.
You vote Tory, you cunt!
Yeah.
George, none of that, this is peaceful.
Yeah, stop. Ow.
Hey, look, sold out humanity. Let's not fucking fight him, leave him alone. Go on. We don't fight, mate. Leave him alone. We're not intentional like this. Hey, don't harass him.
Sorry.
Makes it as bad as the Flash.
Oh,
I don't want you guys said picture or anything like that.
What?
Hey, give us that fucking lanyard. Hey, look. Calm down, lads. You're an absolute... Calm down. That's what it is. You're a cheap bastard.
Ow. Ow.
Psychopath. Walk away. Excuse me.
I didn't shout at you at all. No, I can't stop berating someone. We've all got a right to our views.
Lovely stuff.
Well, it's interesting to hear what they have to say as well. Although I do actually know, but you can't. What's interesting is you can never get inside the head of someone who thinks that way. But it's very interesting.
It's always hatred that comes to it.
Well, it's not the answer, is it? Don't want to leave that though.
Post everything you want on there, whatever you want.
Relax. Honestly.
So the moment an actual person from the conference was spotted, it led to some interesting divisions amongst some of the camp supporters and the anti-Tory party conference campaigners here.
Well said, bro.
It is beneficial for me. I mean, I don't know, benefit for him isn't necessarily a big thing. It's just in terms of having enough money.
So. Alright, yeah.
You would expect a certain level of frequency. I think agree with what they said about trying to get a social cap. It really should be there. Integrated service. Services will be separated by people who don't by producers. A lot of the waste is happening. Services overlap. And things that come in time, ordered And you can say it.
As we continue following around, we're having a debate now about politics. I wouldn't mind having the same thing, which is quite rare. They're not rare with in some circumstances.
They haven't increased it much. It's only 4 to 6% or but my view on that is if I was in a hospital, I wouldn't care who was looking after me as long as the same person. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. I mean, in the end, I wish this so to take now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing that angers me is the knowledge that,
Oh.
you know,
So we're not able to do much more now.